Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm with.
Abigail Cline.
And where are you from, Ms. Abigail?
I grew up in Fort Lauderdale and then came up to Orlando to go to UCF.
What did you study?
Musical theater performance.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about the song we're about to practice.
So this one's called Sweet Lemonade. One of my favorite phrases has always been, when life throws you lemon, make lemonade. And so this song came out of thinking about, we don't always get to choose what opportunities and relationships we have in life, and we can either let some of them be sour or make them sweet. So, sweet lemonade. That's the song.
It's very inspirational. You do a lot of theater writing, correct?
I do, yes.
So where does this fall on the spectrum of pop writing, theater writing?
So this song was a slight attempt towards more like a country folk feel. I write a lot of theater with my writing partner Kelly Picar and also on my own, but I've really been trying to play with a lot of other genres, and so every time I'll write a song I try to do something a little different, or I'll try to do different instrumentation to make it other styles, just to kind of play and see which ones I like. So this was kind of an attempt in that folky country world.
How is theater writing different than folk country writing?
It's pretty different. The biggest difference is in the lyrics, where in theater, musical theater, lyrics are much more driven by actions and what you're doing, whereas in pop it's a lot more adjectives. It's how do I feel about this? It's a song about this feeling. Whereas in theater, it's we have to get from point A to point B by the end of the song.
What is your writing process? Do you start with the melody? Do you start with the lyrics? Do you start with the chords?
I definitely start, pretty much always I definitely start with lyrics. I'll write a verse or two, and then I'll start playing on it, whichever instrument feels like the best one to try it on. And then once I have either that first chorus or that first verse down, that helps. Then together I write the rest of the song.
How many instruments do you play?
Fluently.
However you would like to answer.
Would be piano, guitar, and bass.
Which is do you have a favorite child?
The bass. The upright bass is my favorite. Yeah.
It's a lot bigger than you are.
It is. That was why I wanted to play it.
You were just in, was it Phoenix?
Yes.
For a, what was that? Can you describe it?
So it's the Phoenix Festival for New Musical Theater. My writing partner and I were invited to come be featured in their Composer Lyricist Cabaret, which was incredible. We got to go and have 45 minutes of our music performed by some local actors and singers there. For a completely new audience. So it was great exposure. We met a lot of really great people and made a lot of really great connections.
Cool. So it went well, it sounds like.
Yes. No, that was a great experience.
Are you still writing songs for your non-theater projects, or?
For my theater projects?
No, for your non-theater projects, like more like Sweet Lemonade or?
Oh, sure, yeah. Actually, lately I've been picking up the ukulele and trying to write on that, just because it makes everything sound very different since it's on a new instrument.
You don't hear a lot of death metal on the ukulele.
Not a whole lot.
Maybe there should be.
Maybe there should.
Do you play death metal?
I haven't, but maybe I should. Yes, I've been writing quite a bit. Nowadays, I usually just start writing something and I kind of just let whatever style happen. At first, I really tried to stick to a genre or try a different one each time, and now I'm getting to the point where I just kind of let it write itself and see what happens. Sometimes I'll start writing something and I'm like, this is for the stage. This is for a musical. So I go to the piano. If it feels a little more like something I'd want to sing around town, then it usually goes to the guitar or now the uke.
You get recruited a lot to play bass for people around town, don't you?
Lately, yeah. I played with Mandolin, and once she posted that picture and everyone knew that I owned an upright bass, yeah, starting to get recruited, which is great. I love getting more opportunities to play it. I love it.
And it was a great picture of you in Casey's recording closet with that bass that you somehow managed to bow it in there.
Yeah, not sure how I did that. And there's also a great picture of us in a rehearsal.
Oh, yeah.
Where we're carrying, yes, we are defending.
We are defending
the apartment.
We are standing our ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amanda's castle was then ours.
Exactly.
How long have you been playing the bass?
Well, I played for 3 years in middle school orchestra, and then I stopped for 8 years. And actually, in a hilarious emergency, they needed a bass player. They had a bass, and I was the only option. So in a week, I had to relearn how to play it and come up with a musical's worth of bass parts, just mostly improving.
So I guess it went well. You said it wasn't a horrifying experience.
Fine. It wasn't like a big professional thing, so it was okay.
It didn't scare you off the whole instrument, so that's good.
No, and it was actually, I forgot how much I loved that instrument. I forgot how much I missed it, because my focus had changed to performing theater. So I couldn't really do both at the time. So I'm so glad that happened, because then the next year, I was in college at the time. That was during an internship that happened. I ended up joining the ensemble at UCF. I played in both the concert band and the symphony orchestra, and was getting very pushed on the instrument, certainly beyond my level just because it had been so long, but it was a really great way to just jump back into it and be around other bassists and an orchestra, and I love it.
The sea otter approach. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, there was something else I was going to ask you. What was it? Oh yeah, how long have you been writing music, and do you remember when you first got into music?
Well, I started chorus when I was 5.
Oh, okay.
So music's always been there. When I was 7, my parents started me in piano lessons, and I hated it. So didn't continue that, but I kept the keyboard. And so the only things I ever played on the keyboard were things I came up with. And so really, other than the bass when I was in middle school orchestra, every other instrument has been, I have the instrument, you just make stuff up on it. And so I wrote music before I played music, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I didn't start really writing lyrics or anything until I was probably like 13 or 14. That's when I started having songs. And actually, my song Just Kiss Me in the Rain, I wrote when I was, I think, 15 or 16.
Was it inspired by Nicholas Sparks? That seems to happen in every one of his movies.
No.
Was there anything about slow motion in the song?
No, but now I'll have to go back and...
Yeah, you maybe do like a
that would be funny.
A re-release of it.
Right?
Kiss me in slow motion in the rain. Stop and...
That would be so funny. Yeah. No, but it cracks me up whenever I perform that song, because it feels like, from a writing standpoint, that was so long ago, and I feel like I've grown so much since that. So it's kind of funny to go back and sing that song. But
yeah, Amanda and I were talking the other day. She has a song that, like, whenever she hears it, she just, like, rolls her eyes at her 15-year-old self. And it was funny because, like, she's like, God, this is so overwrought. And because she knows what it's about. And, like, for me, I didn't notice that. I think it works just fine. But she's like, her thing was like, I know what an overreaction this was to the situation.
That's funny.
So what is Sweet Lemonade about?
It's really about how we don't, in the first verse we say, like, we all hope we're going to be able to get married and be happy and da-da-da, but we don't know if that's going to work out all that smoothly, Are we going to even get to that point? Are we going to have that and then get divorced? How many marriages are we going to have? It's there's so many different ways that can go.
A lot of anxiety in that first verse.
Right? I try to touch it lightly. But it's kind of the idea of, like, love and finding someone special to be in your life, and what are the most important things to get out of that. And people always talk about, these are the things I want in a significant other, but really I think if there's someone who'll stand by your side and just take whatever life throws at you, I think that's the most important part of a relationship. So thinking about that is kind of what brought the song together.
Gotcha. And I have to ask, in the very last verse, you say something about it might take till we're 30 or 40 or 70, but sometimes you say 50. What makes you, why the difference?
So I always want it to be 50, but muscle memory makes me say 40, because that's what I first wrote. But after I had been singing the song for a while, it occurred to me that my mom had gotten married when she was about 50. And so it became important to me for that to be the lyric, because sometimes, we don't find someone in our early 20s and happily ever after, sometimes it takes more than one marriage. Sometimes it just takes a couple more decades than we expect to find the right person, or at least a wonderful person to be with.
Okay. Great. Well, thanks for talking, and
Thanks for having me.
bye.
Bye.
Listen to the song if you haven't already. See ya.